I saw 2 children died of malnutrition, hunger, starvation.
Daily,
very largely, I think their needs are being met.
Muna bada labarinsa, muna yungafa.
We're in Maiduguri, the capital city of Borno State and the birthplace of Boko Haram. More than 20,000 people have been killed and millions more displaced in Boko Haram's brutal 7-year campaign of terror. But with Nigerian authorities focused on crushing Boko Haram, a deadly food shortage fueled by the conflict has spiraled out of control. The UN has said hundreds of thousands will die unless immediate action is taken. But in Maiduguri, we found that this was a crisis some people didn't want us to see. In the past 2 years, almost 2.5 million people have fled to Maiduguri to escape violence, hunger and disease. Hundreds are still arriving every day, pushing the already overstretched city to breaking point. All the people coming to Maiduguri, is it making it more expensive?
Before, if I come to market with 500 naira, I'll buy my bag full. But now you come with 1,000, you can't even buy 2 or 3 things. People are crying. Those in Maiduguri crying and those outside Maiduguri crying.
Any new arrivals to Maiduguri are held by the army in centres outside the city, where they are screened for Boko Haram suspects. I've just spoken to the commander here, who can't speak on camera, but he told me that they're getting hundreds of people every day, and not because of the security situation, they're coming to Maiduguri because they're hungry. It's almost impossible to speak to that couple being watched by the military and by local government, but they seem so desperately sick, and what you couldn't smell was the conditions here. Shortly after speaking to me, that woman just walked off and vomited. Those who aren't detained are allowed through to the increasingly overburdened camps in the city. This is Mona Garage camp on the outskirts of Maiduguri. 14,000 displaced people are living here, 3,800 of which arrived last week, having been displaced by military operations clearing Boko Haram insurgents from the area to the northeast of the city. There's a growing international aid presence in Maiduguri, but little evidence of them in the camps, where people seem to be largely fending for themselves. Everyone here has their own story of horror at the hands of Boko Haram. So they either take your food, take your animals, or they kill you?
Animals and they kill you. They're slaughter person.
Did they kill people in your village?
Yeah, there are many. Even me, they kill my brother.
Do you have children?
I have.
How many?
5.
5 children?
Yes. My husband, he didn't kill him, Boko Haram.
Boko Haram killed your
Yes.
husband? I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Not have anything, say this one. Wala money, wala work, wala anything. Say I'm hungry.
Wakil's brother Ali has just arrived in the camp and he's come to check on him. So how did he build the hut?
He went into the bush
and
get the materials and come to erect it here by himself.
But there's Boko Haram in the bushes.
There is Boko Haram.
Was he scared?
He's scared. 3 to 5 people. Only last week I saw them dying of hunger.
Tell me about these people.
People, they are already left with nothing before.
Yeah.
They have no food before, and they are forced out of their house to join us here in Maiduguri. When they came here, they are exhausted. They are tired. They have no food, so they have to die. I saw 2 children died of malnutrition, hunger, starvation. Nothing.
Wakil invited us to see where he lives in town. Only 10% of people who fled to Maiduguri actually live in the camps. Something like 2 million people live among the community, surviving as best they can. Any support, any help since you've reached Maiduguri from the government, from officials?
No support.
From aid workers? No. Many can't return to their homes or land even if they want to, not just because of Boko Haram, but because the army is now reported to be burning villages where Boko Haram are hiding.
Valley was burnt twice.
Burned twice, once by the army, once by Boko Haram.
Soldiers went there to see Boko Haram's trying to shoot them. Then the army then turned over to the valley and fire all valley people. Secondly, Boko Haram came and they rushed them, killed them, took their cattle, about 700, and they went again.
Hundreds of thousands of people are still thought to be trapped in villages cut off by Boko Haram. As the army clears more of these areas, the true scale of the humanitarian disaster in Borno state is only just becoming clear. While we were in Maiduguri, humanitarians reached Bama, Borno's second largest city. They found more than 27,000 people in a camp guarded by the army. 3,000 women and children were evacuated immediately for treatment for acute malnutrition. Several died on the journey. MSF discovered the graves of more than 1,200 people here. The Nigerian army is at the front line of this humanitarian crisis. But their priority is defeating Boko Haram, not meeting humanitarian needs. Major General Leo Irabor, who leads the operation against Boko Haram in the northeast, agreed to talk to us about the humanitarian complications of this conflict. I'd be interested to understand how the military can juggle these two demands of fighting Boko Haram insurgents from a village and then dealing with the humanitarian needs of the civilians that you've then released.
So yes, in a sense, we have some form of unofficial responsibility towards the IDPs. Is it a distraction? Of course, it's some form of distraction. But I want to say that we're able to cope and we're coping with it.
I understand that there has been some huge hunger among the population, particularly in Bama.
It's relative in the sense that before the rescue, their conditions were quite terrible. So in the IDP camps, of course, it's also understandable that they may have had their needs, not in terms of food need, not fully as it should, but very largely, I think their needs are being met.
The army had agreed to escort us to Bama to see for ourselves if the needs of people in the camp are being met.
Thank you. Yeah.
But at the last minute, the army withdrew this offer, citing security concerns. Instead, they agreed to take us to the camp in Maiduguri, where some of the malnourished from Bama had been evacuated. You were part of the team that rescued the people from Bama?
Yes, the buses we took were not enough to bus the whole of them. So we screened and selected those who were with critical conditions. They were sick, hungry, thirsty. Some were almost at the point of death.
Have you seen many people like that?
Yes. We brought them there. We escorted them from Bama when they came.
Are they deliberately standing like that to block the people behind? But when we reached the camp, local government officials stopped us from filming.
I'm not recording. I'm just holding.
A couple of people from Bama were willing to come out of the camp and talk to us, as long as we concealed their identity.
Kuma yawanci abinci daily ana bada su daya bana abinci so da ake bada abinci ma wani lokaci da yamma in rashin riwa ya zo ko ba za samu da yamma wani lokaci.
Have you seen anyone die from hunger in the camp?
Daily a cikin rashin abinci da rashin tsafta daily mutum 20 wani lokaci 15 suna mutuwa kullum sai sun mutu daily sai mutum haka sun mutu. Gaskiya
Another man confirmed reports that food supplies had been stolen from the camp. Who is distributing food in the camp in Bama?
So balamomin ne za su raba abinci. Amma duk da haka su da kansu balaman da muka fada wannan ma an daure shi an kawo shi yanzu yana tarihi yanzu. shi ma ya sata kayan mutane wannan.
Were you able to say to the military, to the civilian task force that people were dying? Were people able to ask for more food? Why was no more help given?
Sau nawa mun yi kuka ihu sau nawa. Sau nawa. Telefon namu da a banki ma duk sojoji sun kwashe. In kana telefon an ganka kai sai duka sosai zaka sha.
Sun fara taimaka ma mutane mu na Bama, musamman akwai kungiya na mutane mu na Bama, su hada kansu sun fara taimaka mutane mu akan mu shan mu da wani abu.
The Nigerian government has kept tight control over humanitarian and media access to this crisis. The World Food Programme was only invited into Nigeria in March and is rapidly scaling up its operation. UN agencies are now working closely with Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima. So I've heard, and I'm sure you've heard too, of worrying tales of food distributions arriving but then not quite reaching the IDPs for whatever reason. Is that something you're aware of?
No, there are lots of lies and embellishments and untruths about all these things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of wastage, no doubt about it. But issue of truck loss or foodstuff disappearing is a figment of some people's imagination.
I read some figures from the World Food Programme that were really alarming. 200 children aged between 10 months and under 6 are expected to die every day in the Lake Chad region. What can be done to try and prevent that at this point?
Our tragedy here in Borno is as bad, is as challenging as in Syria, but very scant attention.
Why do you think that is?
Probably if our people are traveling en masse to Greece, through the Mediterranean, maybe then the world will wake up from its slumber. We have challenges, we need the support of all and sundry to get out of the woods.
Bama is just a glimpse of the catastrophe to come. The situation for unknown thousands trapped in towns like Damboa, Dikwa and Konduga is thought to be even worse.
The number of the IDPs are very high. Without the aid of the NGOs, the government cannot afford to feed this number of people. We're desperately in need of food now.
Company, duga sungaji. Company, batale duga sungaji.
Bama jungle, kai. Very tricky jungle.